Good morning, students. In last about anomalous properties of fluorine in 17th group explained. Now, today we'll discuss about chemical properties. Under chemical properties, particularly, one is reactivity towards hydrogen. Okay. Here, elements of 17th group elements are denoted like E, R, they are X, particularly X. There are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Astatine is a radioactive element. In molecular state, X2 is equals to F2, Cl2, Br2, and I2, iodine molecules. So, here reactivity of halogens already given to you. Your fluorine is more reactive than chlorine, than bromine, than iodine. This is the reactivity order. Due to more electronegativity and high ionization energy, presence of 7 valency electron, fluorine is ready to react. Reactivity order is more than compared to chlorine, bromine, iodine. So on the basis here hydrogen we know H. This hydrogen combines with this fluorine or chlorine or bromine or iodine. Whenever a fluorine molecule react with the hydrogen molecule, its reactivity is more. Between hydrogen and fluorine reactivity is more without any catalyst, without any temperature. Even in dark also it reacts. But compared to fluorine, chlorine reactivity is somewhat less. That's why here reactivity is somewhat less, means even it reacts with the dark, but here we want certain temperature, sunlight required, a diffuser sunlight. But in a dark condition, a closed circuit in a closed room, between hydrogen and chlorine reactivity is somewhat less reaction, because reactivity order is compared to fluorine is less. Then again reaction between fluorine and hydrogen, it is a reaction somewhat very slow. Even in a dark or in a open. That's why temperature required nearly 573 kelvins, like, or 500 to 570 like. Now your iodine is again less reactive. That's why temperature required nearly 713 or 700 to 715, and also catalyst required, that is platinum required. Because why here year to year we are increasing temperature, means reactivity is less. On increasing temperature, rate of the reaction increases. In chemical kinetics explained. So effect of temperature on a rate of the reaction. So on the basis of this, your hydrogen has reacted with fluorine. Reaction is somewhat very fast, even in dark also takes place, or at a room temperature. At a room temperature also takes place. It gives 2HF, hydrogen fluoride. Generally, we can take as HX, hydrogen halide. This is hydrogen halide, HX. So the X stands for halogen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. Then its reactivity slowly decreases. That's why hydrogen plus Cl2, year to year reactivity decrease. That's why at a room temperature takes place. That is sunlight required. Sunlight gives 2HCl, hydrochloric acid. In dark condition, it is a slow reaction. It takes place but it is a slow reaction in a dark condition because sunlight, UV light or visible light radiations range is very less. That's why very slow reaction takes place. In case of bromine, directly it cannot react. Certain temperature required, nearly 500 to 573 kelvins required. On heating only, gives corresponding to HBr, iodosin bromide. Now, here the iodosin combines with the I2 at room temperature cannot take place because reactivity is less, iodine reactivity is less. That's why temperature required nearly 700 and also catalyst required, that is catalytic catalyst required, that is platinum catalyst required. Catalyst increases the rate of the reaction by decreasing the activation energy. Then it gives corresponding to HI, iodosin iodides. So the preparation method, no need for objective, they are important. On the basis, here the iodosin halides are H of HCl, HBr, HI prepared. These are the type of halides. Whenever halogens react with iodosin, it gives corresponding iodosin halides. The iodosin fluoride, iodosin chloride, bromide and iodide. Once we can observe all these on the basis of atomic number and bond length. Here first one is bond length. That bond length is expressed in terms of picometers, bond length. So here iodosin always the same size here, iodosin, 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 iodosin. But fluorine to chlorine, chlorine to bromine, bromine to iodine, what happens? Size, atomic number increases, size what happens? Increases. That's why this is the iodosin fluoride, this is the iodosin chloride, this is the iodosin bromide, this is the iodosin iodide. Top to bottom between iodosin and halogen atoms, when our atomic number increases, size what happens? Increases. When our size increases, this is iodosin common size, this is the fluorine, this is the chlorine, bromine and iodine, size increases. That's why bond length is HF is less than, HCl is less than, HBr is less than HI. This is. Whenever bond length increases, what happens? Bond dissociation enthalpy. Bond dissociation means to break the bond between iodosin and halogens, bond dissociation enthalpy, what happens? Decreases. Less amount of energy required to break a bond. That's why your second one is bond dissociation. Bond dissociation enthalpy or energy, that is kilojoules per mole, that is bond dissociation length is less between these two, energy is more. That's why HF is greater than, HCl is greater than, HBr is greater than HI. So to break a bond between iodosin and iodine, less amount of energy required because there are between two atoms length is more, weakly attracted, they are ready to break by using less amount of energy. This is bond dissociation energy, this is. Okay. So according to the Arrhenius acid base theory in first year equilibrium, whenever any compound dissolved in water, it produces H plus ion, that is acidic in nature. Any compound dissolved in water, it produces OH minus ions, that is basic in nature. Arrhenius acid and Arrhenius base. Among these H of HCl, HBr and HI, which is readily produce H plus ions? Iodosin iodide. Because length is more, which are ready to break and ready to produce H plus ions. Which is readily produce H plus ions. Whenever participate in a chemical reaction, such compounds are more acidic in nature. So whenever bond length increases, bond dissociation energy decreases and acidic character increases. That's why On the basis, third one is here acidic nature. So which is more acidic in nature? That is H of is less than, HBr is less than, sorry, HCl is less than, HBr is less than HI, hydrogen iodide. So among these hydrogen halides, which is more acidic means hydrogen iodide is more acidic than compared to hydrogen fluorides. On the basis of this, here are melting and boiling points of these. Once we can observe, according to the atomic number and atomic mass, when our atomic number increases, your atomic mass increase, melting and boiling points increases. So your melting or boiling points of these hydrogen halides HX. So originally, according to the atomic number and atomic mass, your H of is less than, HCl is less than, HBr is less than HI. This is the correct one according to the atomic mass. But there is an important simple condition. If they are given objective examination, here this is a wrong important representation production, because even though atomic number increases, atomic mass increases, their melting and boiling points increases, whereas in case of this hydrogen fluoride, between hydrogen fluoride and hydrogen fluoride and hydrogen fluoride, what type of forces exist? Intermolecular hydrogen bonds are exist. So due to the presence of intermolecular hydrogen bonds between the two same or the different, that is called intermolecular hydrogen bond, is denoted by dotted line. Its boiling and melting point is more than compared to the other. Between hydrogen fluorine, the fluorine of one molecule, hydrogen of another molecule, there exists a intermolecular hydrogen bond. Intermolecular hydrogen bond. Due to this, its order is, once observe the textbook boiling points, highest one is how much? Hydrogen fluoride. So the hydrogen fluoride is greater. Then again here HCl is less. Here the HBr is less. This is HI. This is the correct one, correct representation. This is the right important value. Very, very important. Reason also they'll ask. Melting and boiling points. Here the bond dissociation energy, acidic character, bond length. Clear? These are the some important points about reactivity towards hydrogen of 17th group elements. Next one is reactivity towards oxygen. Okay? Reactivity towards oxygen. So are the oxygen is a dioxygen. Halogens are X2 like F2, Cl2, Br2 and I2. These are halogens and oxygen. So generally here halogens forms many oxohalides or oxides, many oxides. Among these, your F2 fluorine forms OF2 and O2F2 only. These two are forms. So in this fluorine is always -1. Fluorine always -1 oxidation state. Now in this OF2 oxygen oxidation state is +2. In this oxygen oxidation state is -1. Sorry, +1. So the oxygen exhibit -2, -1, -2, +1, +2, minus of different variable oxidation states. Already explained to you. Whereas fluorine shows only one oxidation state, that is -1. Highest oxidation state is only -1, negative oxidation state. So among these, the stable oxide is OF2 at 298 kelvins. Stable, that is. And these are acts as a fluorinating agent. Fluorinating agents, very, very important. Fluorinating agent means in a spent nuclear fuel, it contains plutonium. Plutonium Pu is present. To remove this plutonium, we can use as a fluorinating agent. Very, very important point this is. Clear? How it removes? Listen carefully. How it removes plutonium by using spent nuclear fuel, means excess nuclear fuel contains some plutonium element. To remove that, we can use like O2F2 or OF2. Like here it contains plutonium Pu. This is present in a spent nuclear fuel. It is reacted with O2F2, 3 moles. It gives PuEF6 plus 3O2 oxygen is formed. That is hexafluoroplutonium. Now this is a nuclear spent fuel, means this fuel contain like mixed with some other fuels. Pu is present, plutonium metal, that is reacted with this O2F2, then it gives plutonium hexafluoride and 3 moles of oxygen evaporated. From this nuclear fuel, easy to remove the plutonium. That's why it acts as a fluorinating agent. The next one is chlorine Cl2 forms some oxides like Cl2O, ClO2, like Cl2O4 or the Cl2O5, it is Cl2O5, Cl2O7 here. These are the some important oxides. So in this case, compulsory oxygen is -2 into 7 minus 14. Compulsory it is plus 14. Means one chlorine atom shows here +7 oxidation state. Okay, higher oxidation states. Now here plus -2 into 5 minus 10. Compulsory chlorine is plus 10. 2 chlorine atoms plus 10. 1 chlorine atom is plus 5 oxidation state. Your ClO2, your -2 into 2 minus 4. Composite is plus 4. Your plus 4 oxidation state. Now it is -2. It is plus 1 into 2 plus 2. Now already in variable oxidation state, explain one point to you. That is, in oxides of chlorine and bromine also exhibit plus 4 and plus 6 oxidation states. Along with -1, +1, +3, +5, +7. All these are common exhibited by chlorine, bromine and iodine. In case of oxides, chlorine and bromine also shows the plus 4 and plus 6 oxidation states in their oxides. Other point. Okay. So among these, here higher oxides means higher oxidation state oxides are more stable than lower ones. Lower ones means this is more stable than compared to this. Now here are the formed oxides stability of oxides of halogens. Generally I2 is greater than Br2 is greater than Cl2. So with iodine oxides are more stable than compared to Br2 than compared to Cl2. On the basis of is stability explained on the basis of kinetics, kinetic energy as well as thermodynamic properties. On the basis of kinetic properties and thermodynamic properties, yeah, the stability order is I2 is greater than Br2 is greater than Cl2. So anyhow, Cl2 shows like this. Among these, here the ClO2 acts as a bleaching agent, or chlorinating agent, that is to bleach paper pulp or textile or any other important color matter, or in the treatment of water also we can use as a bleaching agent. All these oxides also acts as a strong oxidizing agents, strong OA oxidizing agents. This is a story about Cl2, chlorine oxides. Next one is about Br2, bromine oxides. Yeah, bromine forms like Br2O, like BrO2 and BrO3, these are. See here, in this bromine is +6 oxidation state, because -2 into 2 minus 6 means +6. Your -2 into 2 minus 4, it is +4. Now your -2 means compulsory it is +1 into 2 +2 balance. Shows +1, +4 and +6. Compared to the higher oxides, maximum +7. That's why these are least stable compared to this, because higher oxides are generally, higher oxidation states or higher oxides are more stable than compared to the lower ones. Which is more stable means among these BrO3. Now these are these bromide related oxides acts as a powerful oxidizing agents. Powerful oxidizing agents these are. Compared to here, these are more powerful oxidizing agents. The next one is I2, iodine forms some oxides. They are like I2O4, like I2O5, like I2O7, like examples. In this iodine +7, your +5, your +4 oxidation states. These are also acts as good oxidizing agents. Oh yeah, very good oxidizing agents. And these iodates, IO3 also, iodates here, iodates it is used in the estimation of carbon monoxide by using KMnO4, potassium permanganate treatments. So these are the some important oxides of fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. So reactivity towards oxygen. Next one is reactivity towards metals. Reactivity towards metals. So are the metals combines with halogens X2 and gives corresponding metal halides like your 2 moles, your n moles of X2, it gives your the 2mxn. For example, your M stands for monovalent, for example. If you can take monovalent, monovalent means Na or potassium or rubidium like these reacts with Cl2 like. Now here the 2 moles of this, 1 mole of this, gives 2 NaCl like here 1. This value is equals to 1 NaCl. Now KCl gives here the 2 KCl. Now your Cl2 reacts with this RbCl 2 moles. All these are the monovalent. Valence is plus 1, combining valence is 1, combining capacity is 1, exhibit your plus 1 oxidation state. These are the monovalent alkali metals. Bivalent or the divalent, that is magnesium combines with Cl2 gives magnesium chloride MgCl2. Here the calcium combines with Cl2, it gives calcium chloride CaCl2. Like barium plus Cl2, it gives barium chloride. Same similarly, trivalent like aluminium combines with Cl2, it gives AlCl3, aluminum trichloride. Take care the 2 moles, here 3 moles, here 2 balanced. So the aluminum is plus 3 and Cl is minus 1 by crisscross method. Here we will get Al1 and Cl3, aluminum chloride. So when metals combines with the corresponding halogens, it gives corresponding metal halides. These are metal halides. So among these metal halides, which is more ionic, least ionic, one concept explained here. In chemical bonding first year, on the basis of ionic bond, one of the most important concept explained to you. So I'll give one simple example, identify which is more ionic, more covalent in nature. By using Mx like monovalent, I'll take Na, sodium fluoride, sodium chloride, sodium bromide, and sodium iodide, NaI. They will give 4 options in objective or PUC or correct order, which is more ionic in nature, more covalent in nature. Ionic. So the ionic nature is nothing but between positive and negative ion, Na plus and F minus, electronegativity difference. Electronegativity difference is more than 1.7. That is ionic in nature. So among this, which is more ionic? NaF. Like sodium is common. Sodium is common. Now this is the more electronegativity. Least electronegativity is electropositive. But electronegativity difference is more than 1.7. That's why it is ionic in nature. That's why more ionic than compared to this, Because your Na for a given cation is same. Your anion F minus, Cl minus, Br minus, I minus. Top to bottom electronegativity what happens? Decrease. Electronegativity decrease means ionic character decrease. Your covalent character increases. So this is covalent in nature. This is ionic in nature. Here electronegativity difference is less than 1.7 or compared to this, their electronegativity difference is less. That's why covalent in nature, this is ionic in nature. Not only this, So many examples given in chemical bonding, like take your sodium chloride, your the potassium chloride, your the rubidium chloride, cesium chloride. So here your Cl is common. Your -1 electronegativity, your electronegativity common in all the cases. But here, you are the +1, you also +1, you also +1, +1. For a given anion, you are the basic element, alkali metal, here to here potassium, potassium to the rubidium, rubidium to cesium, metallic character what happens? Increase. Ionic character also increases. It is more ionic in nature. Than compared to NaCl, cesium chloride is more ionic in nature. Why? Here it is more means here more metallic in nature it is, because here given anion is same, there is no change in the air. But here the cation, potassium, because sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, top to bottom metallic character increase. Ionic character also increases. That's why that is more ionic in nature. So Fuzzen's rule is there. Based on Fuzzen's rule, all these points are present. So here no need to cover all these points. On the basis of chemical bonding, Fuzzen's rule, we can estimate its nature, ionic or covalent alike. Okay. After this, reactivity towards metals. One important point, reactivity towards water. That is given under oxidizing power of halogens. But here I am giving information about reactivity towards water under these chemical properties. Next and last important property is reactivity towards water, H2O. Now here halogens, like we know F2 is equals to X2 is equals to F2, Cl2, Br2 and I2. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. For example, first one is fluorine reacts with water. Then it gives your H of hydrogen fluoride plus oxygen gas is liberated. Now here if you can take here HF and F2 and H2O, then it gives HF and oxygen gas, 2 oxygen atoms required, that's why it is multiplied with the 2. Then here take 2 moles. Then here we get 4 HF, it is balanced. Here the fluorine acts as a strongest oxidizing agent compared to the chlorine, bromine and iodine. Explained already oxidizing power. There in oxidizing power, this reaction is not mentioned yesterday in last class, because I want here in under chemical properties. So here the under chemical properties, reactivity towards water, fluorine acts as the strongest oxidizing agent. It oxidizes water to the oxygen and it gives only one type of hydrogen halide, haloic acid. Whereas in case of Cl2 and Br2, both are, when reacts with water, it gives 2 types of acids. One is HX type, another one is HOX type. Hypohalous halic acids or oxohalides, halides. Like here the Cl2 react with the water, it gives HCl plus HOCl is formed. Also acts as oxidizing agent. It gives 2 different HCl and HOCl. Hydrogen oxychloride, hydrogen chloride. This is the hydrogen chloride, this is the hydrogen oxychloride. Same here the Br2 also react with the H2O and gives here the HBr, hydrogen bromide and HOBr. 2 are formed here, 2 products. Whereas in case of bromine, only one is the hydrogen fluoride. But whereas in case of iodine, iodine not easily react because it is a non-spontaneous, not spontaneous, non-spontaneous reaction. Why it is non-spontaneous means reactivity of iodine is less than compared to bromine, chlorine and fluorine. So its reactivity order is more for fluorine than chlorine, than bromine, than iodine. That's why with water do not react easily iodine, non-spontaneous, but reverse reaction takes place. Reverse of fluorine, this reaction takes place as like 4Hi plus O2 gives your I2 plus water is formed. This is 2H2 water is formed. Reverse of the fluorine reaction. Not a reverse. Why your iodine do not react directly means reactivity is less, top to bottom reactivity decrease. It is an unspontaneous reaction. That's why reverse of the fluorine reaction takes place here. So these are some important chemical properties of halogens. This is under reactivity towards water. On the basis of this, your halogens acts as a good oxidizing agents. Its oxidizing nature is more for fluorine. Its order decrease, like fluorine is more oxidizing in nature than compared to chlorine, than bromine, than iodine. These are the some important properties, chemical properties of halogens. Then we'll start some important compounds of halogens. On the basis of compounds, some other important reactions and uses are there. Chlorine and chlorine related compounds are there. Then interhalogen compounds are there. Interhalogen, what are interhalogen compounds and their structures and uses of that. Okay, maximum 2 classes, Friday and Saturday. Yes. Next one is about chlorine. What is the atomic number of chlorine? 17. And its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5, and 3d vacant orbitals. This is the outermost orbit. Here are 2 electrons, and in p subshell 5 valency electrons like, and days vacant orbital like 5 orbitals are there. D subshell contains 5 degenerated orbitals. So in ground state, it shows +1 oxidation state. In excited state, +3, +5, +7 oxidation state. It also exhibit a -1 oxidation state. So it receives -1. It donate +1. After excitation, +3. Second excitation, +5. Third excited state, +7 oxidation. Variable oxidation states. And also it exhibit your +4 and +6 oxidation states also in between these 3 and 5. In oxides, already explained right now, oxides are oxoacids. In oxoacids, or in interhalogen compounds exhibit +4 and +6 also oxidation state. In atmospheric air, this chlorine isotopic nature, isotopes of chlorine Cl, that is Cl 17 to 35, Cl 17 to 36, Cl 17 to 37. Three important isotopic forms are present. Chlorine isotopic forms. Chlorine 35, 36 and 37. These are the three important isotopic forms. Generally, your chlorine is greenish, given already. Greenish yellow color. This greenish yellow color, chloro is nothing but. Chloros is nothing but in Greek language, greenish yellow. Greenish yellow in color. So the Devi scientist, nearly 1810 year, Devi scientist observed the color. Like why the name of Cl is chlorine given? Because on the basis of certain experiments, due to the presence of this element in a gaseous state, it exhibit a greenish yellow color in a Greek language. In Greek language, now greenish yellow is nothing but a chloros. That's why its name is chlorine. And first it is prepared by using Chile like SCHEELE like in 17, nearly 75 like. By using here manganese dioxide and hydrochloric acid. First chlorine is prepared by using manganese dioxide. This is the some important concepts, some important points about chlorine introduction. Then first one is preparation methods. Preparation methods. In this preparation methods of chlorine, first by using this, here the manganese dioxide react with the hydrochloric acid on heating. Gives here the water H2O plus manganese dichloride plus chlorine gas is liberated. Greenish yellow color is observed. So here the manganese dioxide, this is. This manganese dioxide on heating with hydrochloric acid, it gives water vapors, manganese dichloride, manganese oxidation state is +2 and chlorine gas is liberated. Now here manganese 1 and Cl2 are there, 2 are there, that's why we want 4. Then here take 2 moles of, then it is balanced. This is the very, very important first preparation method. In examination, they won't ask based on this, write any 2, 3, 4 preparation methods of chlorine. They'll ask, complete the following reaction. They'll miss this. They'll miss, what is that? A. So very simple reactions, one word answers important. And the same here, instead of hydrochloric acid, same reaction, if we can use here sodium sulfate or sodium chloride plus sulfuric acid, same reaction with MnO2. Instead of hydrochloric acid, sodium chloride, so salts, corresponding salts with this sulfuric acid, it gives corresponding sodium hydrogen sulfate plus MnCl2, manganese dichloride plus your hydrochloric, chlorine gas is liberated. Now, very, very important reaction this is. Balancing, take care of 4 moles, here are the 4 and take care also 4 moles. Now it is balanced, manganese, 2 chlorines. And here water molecule also liberated, that is 2H2O water also liberated in a solution medium. So these two are very, very important reactions. Preparation of Cl2 by using manganese dioxide with hydrochloric acid and sodium chloride and sodium hydrogen sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid. One more important uh, industrially important method is there. I'll explain industrially important method. So are the electrolysis of Brin solution. So the electrolysis of Brin solution is nothing but brine solution is nothing but 10% NaCl solution is called a brine solution or Brin solution. So are the electrolysis in electrochemistry will explain about electrolysis process. I'll give the overall idea about this electrolysis, how to prepare chlorine gas. In our textbook given only during the electrolysis of Brin solution or sodium chloride, it gives a chlorine gas at anode. That's all. Very simple word given. But I'll give the clear information about this electrolysis. Yeah, the 10% NaCl solution. This is NaCl solution. Nothing but it also contains water, H2O. This is a solution that is 10% NaCl solution. That is called a Brin solution, 10% NaCl solution. Now your NaCl in aqueous medium, it ionizes because it contains water. So this is called a ionization reaction, ionization. It ionizes, it gives as Na plus plus Cl minus in aqueous medium, this is. Completely ionized because strong electrolyte. And water also are partially ionized because it is a weak electrolyte and it gives H plus plus OH minus ions. This is present in one electrolytic cell is nothing but it is one important cell. It contains two electrodes. One is cathode and one is anode like this. These two are connected through a battery like this. Direct electric current is passed through this. This is the solution, complete solution. This is. It contains here the Cl minus and OH minus. These are the anions. And Na plus and H plus ions are the cations. Here in this case, anode symbol is plus, cathode symbol is minus. Cathode symbol is minus. All anions attracted towards anode because anode symbol is plus. Your anions attracted towards anode, cations attracted towards cathode because cathode symbol is minus. So after this ionization at anode, your anode symbol is minus. Your two are present here, the Cl minus and OH minus. These two are attracted towards anode. Among these Cl minus and OH minus, on the basis of SRP values, standard reduction potential values, here the Cl minus is ready to lose electrons. Oxidation reaction takes place. Here the 2 moles of electron, 2 Cl minus gives Cl2 gas liberated, that is called a oxidation process. There is an oxidation reaction takes place. That one acts as anode. That's why anode oxidation reaction takes place. At the same time, at a cathode, here the H plus and Na plus ions are there. Among these two, based on their SRP values, here the two hydrogen ions ready to accept 2 electrons from anode. From anode to the cathode electron transfer here. Now, it donate 2 electrons and immediately accepted by the hydrogen ion. It gives here the hydrogen gas. That is, at a cathode, reduction reaction takes place. So in this manner, we can prepare by using electrolysis process at anode oxidation reaction, that is chlorine we can separate it, and at cathode here hydrogen gas we can separate it. These are the two important gases, easy to prepare by using electrolysis process by using a Brin solution. Two, three important methods are very, very important. The remaining some important properties, physical and chemical properties of chlorine and hydrogen chloride preparation methods and properties, uses, intrahalogen compounds. Maximum tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, 2 classes. By Saturday, I'll complete this. Maximum P block elements, one word answers only they'll ask. Better you concentrate on one word answers and read the in-text questions. And given NCERT textbook in-text questions, for all the questions, better you answer one by one. Take the question and read the theory, and for that, better you create related answers. Okay? Thank you. Take care. Tomorrow I'll discuss remaining parts.